What's going on, guys? ChaseWins.com coming to you for Friday, September the 11th. That day always makes me cringe. So let's start off by paying respects and remembrance to the worst day in this country's history, September the 11th, 2001. There's very few times, if you really think about your life, where you can know exactly where you were, what you were doing, and every single detail about a day. It's very rare. Most people can remember, their first child or their wedding day or something, and they can, vividly remember things about that day. But think back through your life and going back that far where you can remember every single detail about that day. I mean, I remember what shirt I was wearing. And I was in school when it happened. And I remember watching it unfold on television. And it is embedded in my brain forever. And what was strange is just that winter prior, the December before that. So, not even a year before. And I had been to New York plenty of times and have been plenty of times since. But on that trip, we went into the World Trade Center, into the North Tower, went up to the lookout, and just being in what are some of the most massive and magnificent man-made structures ever constructed, and watching them crumble to the ground as if they were made of Legos. It's unreal. So to all of the victims and the fallen, in the tragedy, and all of the first responders that lost their lives. So all of their families, you're in my prayers today, and then all the ones that were affected by it, the residents, and even the first responders that were fortunate enough to make it out. Thank you for everything that you did, and it will truly be a day that we will never forget. But I've heard now that a lot of news outlets or TV channels that usually dedicate all of their programming on this day every year to, doing documentaries or playbacks of the awful day and getting people's firsthand accounts, that they're not going to be doing that this year on some of these stations, because they say that it will take away from the racial inequality topics in America, and that's not something that we need to lose focus on. One person gets, shot by a police officer, here recently, and, before that, the George Floyd incident, which was awful. I still, I'm 100% in favor of putting two into the skull of that officer. But again, I'm sorry, George Floyd's not a hero. He was not a good person. He didn't deserve to die. He certainly didn't deserve to be murdered. But we've got to stop portraying these people as heroes and saints when they just weren't. But 3,000 people lost their life that day. And what, was spun off because of that, which started a war, the longest war in history, in American history. Over 4,000 lives have been lost in that war alone that have sparked other wars. Thousands upon thousands of lives have been lost as a direct correlation of what happened that day on American soil. And we're not going to pay homage to that because we don't want to take away the media coverage of a criminal breaking the law and being shot by police. Excessive force? Absolutely. I would say so. Justified shooting? I still don't know. Justified or not, even if it was, I don't think 7 times were justified. But either way, being praised as a hero. as a hero, as a saint, as a somebody, as a role model. But yet the people, the truly innocent people that lost their lives that day, men, women, old, young, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, something that shook an entire nation and changed the world. We don't want to pay tribute to that, and that disgusts me. So, and to all of our servicemen and women, all the people in uniform that fought to keep our freedoms, and went over there and put your life on the line in the Middle East. After all that, hats off to you. Everybody knows the former company that I was with. Those guys don't like me anymore because I'm not with them, and I get talked bad about at every turn, and fake accounts get made just to talk shit about me. That's fine. But two of those guys are military members, you know that. Both have served overseas, so I want you guys to pay them some respects too, because despite what they say about me, I will always have the utmost respect for them, if nothing else, for that. So I thank you for your service, as always, and you guys need to give them some love on that too. So anyway, sorry for the little rant, but I wanted to get that off my chest. Let's get into some sports. Let's get into a recap for what we did for Thursday, and I'll get you on a free play. We're going to do a free play in Major League Baseball. We're going to do a totals play that may seem a little bit confusing to some of you, but we're going to do it, going to roll with it. So let's start with what we did. The free play for Thursday was in the NFL. Free plays have been on absolute fire. We've only dropped, 3 or 4 free plays since starting the free play videos back up once sports came back. So it's just day in and day out. Free play winner after free play winner after free play winner. So just imagine, if you're making all the money on free plays, think about all the money you're missing out on by not being on a paid subscription. Do the math. This is what I give away for free. Now, most days I do give away a premium play that is on my paid card, but there's still so much more you're not getting because you're not, subscribed to a package. So make sure you do that. But the premium free play for Thursday was the Kansas City Chiefs minus 9.5 over the Houston Texans with their barely average quarterback in Deshaun Watson. Easy winner there. It was never in question. It was never in doubt. They should have won by more than 14. They gave away one bad run where the defense just kind of said, do what you want. Game's almost over anyway. But what was so funny about it was I had somebody, just a buddy of mine, send me a text message as that game was going on. And him and I had talked about it before the game. And I said, I think Kansas City wins by 3 touchdowns. And I said that on video yesterday. And they were up by that. And then they let Houston come back and score that late touchdown. And he goes, nope, see? And of course, he's an advocate for Deshaun Watson. He's like, look at what Deshaun just did. And I said, are you even watching the game? I said, the defense didn't even attempt to stop the passing there. I said, they pretty much just said, game's over. Houston can't win. They're not going to kill themselves just to prevent more points from being scored. And when it happened, I said, had Kansas City wanted to play defense that drive, Houston wouldn't have had a prayer, as they had it for most of the night. I said, Kansas City gave them one. It was a gimme. Like, here, go ahead and get one. And then they finally punched in. I said, now you watch this. I said, Patrick Mahomes got kind of fired up on the sidelines. He didn't like that Houston scored, even though it didn't mean anything in the grand scheme of it. I said, you watch Patrick Mahomes come out there and this team come out and do whatever they can to score again. Not 2 minutes later, they're down there at the end zone. It was hilarious to see how quickly they came back and took it right back. They should have, truth be told, they should have won by 4 touchdowns, but I projected 3. The line was 9.5. They won by 14, so an easy win from start to finish there for our very first NFL play of the season. So congrats to everyone there. Then we jump over to Major League Baseball. We only dropped 1 play there. We have 1 play that did not go, so it'll be a doubleheader tomorrow. Scratch the game for now, as it should be within your book. If I decide to play that game going into tomorrow, I will let everyone know. But as of right now, the game's off the board. I'm not going to tell you what the play was just in case I do re-release that game. It wouldn't be fair to my paying clients. It was a play within the Yankees-Orioles game. That's all I'm going to say. It was scheduled to go at 7:05 on Thursday night, got postponed, so there will be two games played on Friday, weather permitting. So I'm not going to say what play it was, what side I was on, if I was on a total, whatever. We can, it doesn't really matter that the game was called off for tonight. But if I were to re-release that same play, I'm going to leave that for my paying client. So we'll just see. So that game was null and void. Otherwise, we went 3-1. We had one loss, which was the Cleveland Indians on the run line. Now, Brady Singer is somebody that too many people have praised for him being lucky more than anything. He's not a bad pitcher. The problem is he doesn't command himself very well. And what he does is where his strike zone at, where he can be very dominant, is where a lot of teams find their sweet spot. You can't hang balls right over the plate all night and expect professional baseball players to not be able to hit them. And especially the really good batters in the league, people that sit above a 275 ER or a 275 batting average, especially getting to the people with 313s and all that stuff, they're not just going to hit you. They're going to destroy you. He's not a bad pitcher, though. He's just not a pitcher that can work around batters. They have to swing and miss. And boy, did they tonight. I mean, he was pitching a no-hitter through 8, I think, and it was laughable at best to look at it. I mean, you couldn't have been more lucky. It was the most pathetic display of swinging that I've seen Cleveland do all year. And 3 straight innings where Singer clocked, I don't know, 5 strikeouts in 3 innings, whatever it was. 4 out of those 5 strikeouts, every strike that was called was no swing. There was a couple of foul balls in there, but it was just strike looking, strike looking, strike looking. It's like they knew it was coming over the plate. Why are you not swinging? So I'll never understand that. We dropped that play. Congrats, hats off to Brady Singer for pitching a gem of a game. I know he wanted that. I mean, at that point, once I saw that he was, no hitter through 8, I was hoping he would get it, because that's a milestone that is very, very hard to accomplish, and I love seeing that. But we dropped that game. In that same game, we had the Cleveland Indians, Kansas City Royals over 7 runs. It did get as high as, well, it opened up at 7. It dropped down to 6.5 at William Hill about an hour later, but then immediately shot back up. 7.5 is where it closed in some books, and then at Bovada, I think it closed as high as 8, and that was just a mere minutes before the game started. But it was 7 throughout most of the day. A couple of books had it at 7.5. Either way, Kansas City, scored 11 runs by themselves. So it was an easy, blew over that total and left it standing still. We also had the Atlanta Braves versus the Washington Nationals over 10 runs. It ended up closing at 11 in some spots right before the game, and another easy win there. I think 13 runs were scored. Freddie Freeman ended up tying the game up late, and like what I tell you, people did not like that pick. They kept saying, why do you like that? The Nationals can't hit, yada, yada, yada. They're at home. Well, the Nationals have been one of the worst home teams in all of baseball this year. They have a better road record than a home record. They were putting, what they've done at home this year has been a disgrace for a defending World Series champion. But what have I said over and over again, that people still don't believe it when I say it, and they still want to combat me on it? The Nationals are a very good left-hand hitting team. They hit lefties just as good, if not better, than anybody in baseball. They don't run the bases very well. That doesn't mean that it generates always into runs. But just the other day, when Atlanta put Max Fried on the mound, the best lefty in baseball right now outside of Kershaw, in my opinion, I said, they're going to hit him. And what did they do? That total flew over, as quickly as the game started. And he is somebody that has shut down batters all year long. People don't want to believe me when I say Atlanta's not a very good defensive team. They're about average, and the Nationals hit lefties just as good as anybody. You're going to give me a lefty rookie for Atlanta. You're going to give me a terrible starting pitcher for the Nationals in DC, and you're going to give me a total of 10 runs? Yeah, we took over, another easy winner. And then the final game of the day in Major League Baseball was yet again another total. We took the Chicago Cubs Cincinnati Reds over 6.5 runs. Easy win there. It's 3-0 very early in the top of the second, I believe. And then in the fourth inning, Cubs put up 4 runs or 5 runs and blew the game wide open. So it was over the total in the fourth inning. So another easy win there. So a great day, guys. Bunch of money made and another successful day. Make sure, and if you didn't see the NASCAR recap, go back and watch yesterday's video. He swept the board again this Sunday. He's got the rest of the NASCAR season, 9 total races for $200. Each race card is $50 a piece. So each Sunday, when you go to buy a race card, you're going to spend $50. Why not spend $200 and get 9 races, everything that he releases, premium and top play alike, for the rest of the season? It's a no-brainer. 1 year all access pass, my most sought after popular package that I offer that gives you everything. Premium plays, top plays, game of the weeks, game of the months, game of the years, NASCAR, horse racing, international sports, every single thing that is released on chasewins.com for 365 days. You buy it right now, and this is only this week. Come next week, you will not be offered this, and I will not make any exceptions. You buy it right now, you get the 1 year, you get an extra year free. So you get 2 full years for the price of 1. Don't miss out. All right, let's get into a free play and get ready for a big, big Friday. Now, we're going to go back to Major League Baseball. We're going to go to a totals play. This is why it may not make sense to people, because we have a doubleheader. People know that I'm not crazy about 7-inning doubleheaders whatsoever. Philadelphia has taken on Miami. Miami has been, as far as any team that was just outright bad last year and has been for quite a few years, you have the Orioles, you have the Marlins, you have Detroit, you have these teams that have just been inherently bad. Now, in saying that, what did I say during the offseason? If any of these bad teams, if any of them were going to make a turnaround and start trending upward, Miami was going to be that team. Baltimore hasn't done bad for themselves. They have definitely been better than expected. I certainly didn't think they were going to be as bad as they were last year or in the previous 2 years, but I am pleasantly surprised as to how well they have done so far this year. Now, in saying that, Miami has been the team. They have played well all season. Jeter's got him in a rhythm, and he's doing it without those really big contracts that they were getting ready to wrap themselves up into with Stanton and Yelich. He got out of those. He's getting some more young guys, prospect, being able to spend rookie money instead of elite money, and they're winning games. Miami could very well sniff the postseason this year. I don't think they'll be able to do anything come crunch time, but what that shows you that within the next 3 years, Miami's not going to be in basement talk anymore. They're going to be taken just as seriously as any other team in the NL East. The Phillies, on the other hand, are a team that the second they signed Bryce Harper were immediately, and I mean almost immediately, considered to be playoff material. World Series bound eventually because of Harper. And they go out there, they get McCutchen, which I think was probably one of their better signs because they didn't have to spend everything they had to get him like they did Harper. Harper's a great player. Talent for days. He's just not a clutch player. He is about the least clutch superstar I've ever seen. Then you have Didi Gregorius. They raved about getting Didi, taking him from the Yankees, sending him downwind to Philly, and he was going to be the new infield guy. What did I say? He wouldn't be shit there either. Philly has a potent lineup. They just can't get their shit together. When you have the likes of Harper, Gregorius, McCutcheon, you should not have a problem crossing the plate against anyone, especially against some of the lesser competition you've had to face this year with teams that are just struggling. Not only are they not doing that most games, but what did I say 2 weeks ago? That I think the worst defensive team in baseball is the Philadelphia Phillies, infield wise. Their infield is laughable. Didi Gregorius, just the other day against the Mets, we had the Phillies on that game, and we won that game. But 3 innings in a row, Didi committed 3 defensive fielding errors. 3 errors in 3 innings by one single player who's supposed to be your top infielder. They suck at defense. Now, here's why people are not going to like this pick. This total opened up at 6. You can get it at 5.5 right this minute at 5 dimes. William Hill still has it at 6. If you play over 6, you're going to lay $1.10. You're going to lay $1.35 to get it at 5.5. That's not bad odds. Anything under $1.40 at 5.5, take it. I did. If you have to play 6 because you can't buy it down to 5.5 or the odds are too high, I'm still okay with 6. 5.5 is just much better. And that's not bad odds because how often do you see something below 6? You don't. The reason you're seeing it that low and it didn't open up at 7 is because it's a 7-inning doubleheader and they're putting Nola on the mound. Nola, for the most part, has been pretty decent all year. But look at the competition that Nola has faced when he's gone up there. It's nothing to write home about. One good thing about Nola is he tends to get decent run support. It's nothing overwhelming, but just look at it. It's very rare that Nola's going to come out there, pitch a solid stance where he gets at least 5 innings, and then they don't put up at least 3 runs in that 5, 6, 7 inning stretch. And one thing is, Nola's not so good that he's not going to give up runs. Miami is swinging blindly right now, and they're having success doing it. They're not intimidated. They're not scared to cram it down your throat. And I'm sorry, Aaron Nola's not so good that he's not going to give up a hit to Miami. So I truly believe, while they may not have the most success with it, I really do believe that Miami can cross the plate at least twice in this 7-inning doubleheader. Not to mention, they are going to try to stretch these starting pitchers as far as they can to save bullpens for Game 2 when they need them. And again, it's just now Friday. They've got to play all weekend. They don't want to deplete every reliever they've got to give them a lesser chance going into the weekend. So, in saying that, I think that if Nola starts to struggle a bit in, let's say, the 4th inning, which is very, very possible, and then you also, at the same token, have Trevor Rogers, he's got a 1-0 record right now. He does have some no decisions. He is a rookie left-hander. Philly is decent against lefties. He's got a 3 ERA right now for the season. He's clocked 21 strikeouts, but again, his competition hasn't been that great. I think him being the lefty that he is, I think Harper can get to him. I think McCutcheon can get to him. I don't know that they'll take him out of the park, but I think they can build some consistency and some rhythm with him, where as long as they run the bases well, I think Nola will get his normal run support. Trevor will probably start struggling around the 4th. It wouldn't surprise me that Nola does the same thing and has an off inning, and that's all it's going to take to soar this thing right above 5.5 to 6, whichever you get it at. And I think that as long as it doesn't get overly out of hand, they're going to let them keep going, which means more hits, more potential runs. I hate the fact that we're playing a total on an over in a 7-inning doubleheader with a great pitcher like Nola on the mound, because guess what? Even though he's not great this year, he's sitting at about a 3 ERA. His whip really isn't that good. And that's another thing with Trevor Rogers. His whip really just isn't that great, even with the 21 strikeouts. So I just think that even though the long ball isn't looking too promising in this game, hits are. And I just think that the 6 that it opened up at and the 5.5 that it is, right now, in some spots is just too low. Again, I hate playing an over in a 7-inning doubleheader when you do have a career superstar like Nola, but I just don't have a lot of faith in him right now. And the big kicker is, as well as Miami's hitting, they're going up against the worst defensive team in baseball, in my opinion. The Marlins love to hit the low infield grounders hard and fast. Well, guess what? Hit it at Didi every time. You're destined to get base hits. They won't turn double plays, and the Marlins can score runs. Case in point, if we lose, I'll take the loss. But every single statistic and the trends of the way the teams have played over the last 10 days and seem to continuing to be played, as well as Nola's run support and just the defensive joke that Philly is, I've got to go with the smart numbers, and I've got to take over. We're going to take over 5.5 in game one of the doubleheader against Philly and Miami. Again, if your book has 6, that's fine. Buy it down to 5.5 if you can. If you're still paying decent odds. If not, feel free to lay the 6. Take it as high as 6. Take over, and that is your free premium play for the day. I love you guys. Make sure you jump on a package and make sure you subscribe, because I'm going to start doing the scouting report videos, and all the extra free plays I'm going to be giving out on this channel that I told you guys about are going to be listed into a playlist on my channel that you can only access, and you will only get notifications, and you will only be able to view it if you are a subscriber. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at PicksChase, as I'm going to be doing some free information there all over the weekend. So do not miss out. I love you guys. I will see you back for a free play on Saturday, where we kick off a big weekend of college and professional football. I'll see you back then. I'll see you back then, guys.